Good morning.
Hello.
Welcome to Church at Home.
Oh, it's good. It's good to be here.
It is good to be here.
Nice sunny morning.
This is one of our favourite things to do on a Sunday morning. Pretty much.
Maybe the only thing I would do on a Sunday morning.
The favourite thing to do on a
is
Sunday
it.
morning.
Except with the exception of maybe like 2 a year.
Or
were,
church
take
in
a break.
person as well.
Yeah.
We love that. But
Yeah.
either
This is
way,
it.
it's great. Welcome. And if it's your first time, we're so stoked that you're here, that you've joined us. Hopefully it becomes one of your favourite things on a Sunday morning as well.
I could see you every week from now.
You could see Jacob every
Just good,
week.
yeah. Ta-da!
Living the dream, right?
We're stuck here.
But if it is your first time, we're so happy that you've joined. But there's heaps of ways that you can connect into this place, that you
Yeah.
can get this sort of vibe going all the time.
Yeah.
So we've got, what have we got? Stuff like youth, young adults.
We've got
There's
life groups. Stuff for prime timers.
active,
Play
in
groups.
all sorts of ways.
The whole bit. They're all on the
sports, all the things. Go to the app.
We've
You'll
got an
see
app.
it. Where there's an app, you should download the app if you don't already have it, and have a look at all the ways you can get involved and connected in this place. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's the best.
My favourite part of the app, well actually second favourite.
My favourite
More to
part
come
is
on
that it says kid in your face on the app. That's my favourite part.
That's a little Easter egg.
Sums it up so
Oh,
perfectly.
cat's out of the bag.
Sorry, what's your favourite part?
No, my second favourite part is the events section, because
Yes.
it's like one-stop shop for hitting, and then you can just see all the different things that are going on.
Yeah, it's just like a
And,
party
yeah.
non-stop. Do you know what my favourite part of the events section is right now?
What?
Camp No Fear launch.
Woo! Camo Fear's great.
Oh my gosh, it is one of my favourite. We've said favourite a lot. We do
Said
have a lot of favourite
favourites.
things, but you know, genuinely, Camp No Fear is one of my favourite moments in the year. And if you don't know what that is, it is our annual youth camp that we run for teenagers in our church and beyond church. It's open to everyone. And it is the most incredible time. They go away for 4 days and just get fed into with encouragement and love and fun. And get away from their worlds and all the noise of this world. And it's just so powerful. And we've got the launch party coming up in 2 weeks. So it's Saturday the 7th of September,
Yep.
7 till 9.
7 to 9.
It is going to be so much fun.
Oh.
I'm genuinely
And who's
can't wait.
welcome? Who can come?
Anyone who's in year 6 to year 12.
That could be you.
That is
if it's not, it's someone you know.
Exactly.
So get in there, because it's going to be life-changing. Right, let's find out a little bit more about what camp looks like now.
This is why we're here. That place, louder, smiles all around. Games all day, vibes all night. This is why we're here. We're here. Camp No Fear. God's so near. We are changed every single year. Camp No Fear. Camp No Fear.
Huge. Oh.
Oh, I love it. It's
I feel like
going to be
every
so
camp,
fun.
it just gets better and better and better.
Also-
And this is the big one.
It's the big one.
It's the big
I don't know
one.
what that means, but I'm excited. It sounds like
that's
it's
the
going to be really
slogan
fun.
for this camp. It's going to be good.
So good.
If you want to find out more details about camp, or especially about the upcoming launch, that, as we talked about earlier, it's just in the events section of the Gateway app.
Yeah.
Check it, read about it. But especially if you've got anybody that's in high school age, make sure you get them there, because this will change their
They
life.
will love it. Guaranteed.
Also, another thing that's in the app, that's my number one favorite.
I was waiting for the number one favourite.
This is my
What
number
it?
one favorite thing in the app, the prayer wall.
Yes.
Still a recent
It's
addition.
a fairly new thing to
It's
the
new.
app, isn't it? We've changed the way we've done it a little bit. It's
Yeah.
cool because you can just go on there and you can put up a prayer request that you have for the whole church or anyone who's on the app to see, and they can pray with you and over that,
Yeah.
and they can make comments, and it's a really cool interactive way to do prayer as a community.
Yeah.
I love that.
You put something up, and then you can see like, oh, there's 10 people praying about, this thing that I've got going on.
with your leg.
There's one. I was saying there's one.
that was the leg one,
there's
wasn't it?
there was one on there for someone who's getting a knee surgery.
Oh, yeah.
It was cool. There's like 10 people praying for it. I thought it's just great knowing that there's a community of people who you don't even know who's praying for you. You just know that there are people who are backing you.
Yeah.
I just think that's a really special addition to the app.
Yeah, I agree.
There's one other thing on the app,
Yes.
where there's opportunity to give. Well,
Where does this fall in your list of favourites on the app?
Third?
How high? Is it third?
Probably
Are you
third.
just saying that now? Because we've
Well, I mean, I've
put
got,
you on the
I've
spot,
got one
sorry.
and two, so the spots are taken.
All right.
Now,
Giving
third's good.
Very important. I love this part.
I'm trying to think of all the other tiles.
Oh no, I've
We'll
taken
stick
it down.
with third.
I'm really sorry, guys, if he goes into a real deep
I don't want to
rabbit
rank
warren.
every tile. Something's going to be in
This
the
could
bottom,
take all
guys.
morning. But we do love to give at Gateway, and you know, we give because we follow a generous God who
Yeah.
he gave to us first, and because he's given us a mission in this world to help those who have less. And Gateway's so amazing at doing that in so many different ways, you know, whether it's
Yeah.
overseas in Papua New Guinea or locally with the winter shelter and 1,000 other ways that
Yeah.
they just reach into the community with love and light.
Camp.
Exactly. So if you would like to give, you can do that through the app. And we're so grateful to those of you who we do know faithfully give week in and week out. It just makes such a difference.
Yeah.
So good.
It's great. You guys are great.
Yeah, it's true.
And keep adding things to the prayer wall. Normally we would throw to worship now.
I
but
know,
We're
yeah.
going to change it up. Don't get.
We love to keep
it's all
things
right.
fresh here.
We're
you know.
still going to worship.
Yes.
But we're going to do the message first. So tune in and we'll see you soon.
And then, hang on, not yet. It's not time yet because I've got to tell you what's happening in the message.
Oh, what's happening in
And
the
then
message?
Also, we're not coming back. So, guys, I don't know how invested you are in us coming back after the message, but this is it from us.
Well, are we gonna say see you next
we
week?
don't get to talk. We're not going to say see you next week until
Because
it'll just be next week.
It's
that
just
we
gonna
see
be
them.
next week.
So we're going to miss you guys at the end of this.
see you next week at church at home.
But we are. I'm also very. You're just such a weirdo. I love it. I am trying to get us back on track here, guys. Come on, Jacob.
It's a slog.
Next
going.
Sunday, we're starting a new series, and it's called Impress. And I'm
yeah,
really
yeah.
excited. It's all about like family and impressing faith on the next generation. It's going to be
gonna be
very
very
powerful.
impressive.
But this week we've got an awesome message from an in-person one that Sinj has done called The Church I Grew Up In, and it's a banger. So enjoy that, then worship, no more us.
We'll see you next
Sorry,
week.
guys. Bye.
Have fun.
My name is Sinj and I am the youth pastor here, and we are lucky to be in a church with a bunch of incredible youth who we love having around. And so this morning, as we have a youth takeover, we give you a little taste of youth. There's lots of things that happen around Gateway that many people don't get to see. Youth is just one of those, you know, alongside playgroups and breakfast clubs and all sorts of things. So we wanted to give you a taste of youth. Obviously, if we're giving you a taste of youth, it would be pretty ridiculous for me to get up here and just give you a boring 25-minute message. So I thought it would be good if we heard from some of our youth this morning. So please welcome up Ethan and Katie. Thanks, mate. Ethan and Katie have both been on band this morning as well, you might have noticed. I've thrown them because we've arranged ourselves differently on the stage.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's the same order, just different sides.
Compared to last time, so that's, you know, very annoying by me. So Ethan and Katie are both very valued members of our youth group, but also who serve in band and also in God's Own and a few other places here or there. And I thought it would be great to just be able to share with the church today a little bit of your experiences of what Gateway has meant to you. So I gave you a few questions to think about ahead of time, but I also threw an extra one at you last service. So we'll see how we go. Firstly, I wanted to ask you, how has growing up around Gateway, you've both been around Gateway for a pretty long time, a pretty long time and a very, very long time maybe. But how has that formed you or changed you personally? Maybe we'll start with Katie. I'm just going to throw it. I'm just going to do things in a different
Damn,
order.
it's all new. I can't deal with this change. I was saying I grew up in a small church right next to my house, but it very quickly got to being just me and my brother as the only kids. And you know, like we're at the stage where you weren't like quite friends yet. Wow, that was funny. You're in the first service. Got it, guys. I got it. It's fine.
They're friends now. It's okay.
Yeah, we're friends now. It's fine. But so in year 5, we moved to Gateway, and I had the privilege of meeting some of my best friends here. Gateway's really been a place where I've been able to meet lots of people and create great connections, both through Camp No Fear, other youth events, as well as just the God's Own program and Switch. So, yeah.
Awesome. What about you, Ethan?
What was the question again?
How's growing up around Gateway affected you personally?
Oh, yes. So,
You know, one of the questions I gave you ahead of time to
Yeah,
prove
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So I've been at Gateway my whole life, so almost 18 years now. And I guess sort of me as a person is, I would say, almost entirely shaped by Gateway as a church and a community in Gateway. I've been coming every week, and then when you started, also Friday, so twice, sometimes 3 times a week for 18 years. So I've been around this place a bit, and I've definitely been impacted by all the people here and all the different things that I get to do here, like God's Own Leading. I'm doing God's Own Leading and youth. It's good to be able to connect with people who share something with you in faith. Yeah.
Awesome. And of course, speaking of faith, we are a church. So what has Gateway meant for you guys spiritually?
Guys, it's me this time. I go first. Okay. So I started in the Switch program, and as it being in like year 6, that was kind of the point where I was able to make my faith my own rather than just what my parents had told me. Through Gateway, I've kind of been able to realize, same difference. I kind of came to realize what I thought rather than what I'd just been told, and really make my own opinions about my faith. I found that I really matured into my faith, and what it is today has become quite well-rounded. Got told the circle wasn't funny, so... Guys, I'm just comedy gold. This is the real reason you guys got me up here.
Yeah,
We love instilling confidence in our young people.
Yeah. You guys are harsh. The first service we're laughing at, Katie.
Yeah, I know.
You guys are flat.
I'm sorry, Ethan, I'm just funny. It's like, just the way it is.
Yeah, so I'd say because I've been here for my whole life, every part of my faith that I can think of has some degree to do with Gateway. So church and God's Own is very much Gateway oriented, like it's entirely Gateway. Otherwise, things like SYG, we go with Gateway, or Camp No Fear is also Gateway. Even events like Youth Alive often go as a group from Gateway. So all of my church friends are from Gateway pretty much, and so I'd say pretty much all of my faith is at least in somewhat related to Gateway. So
It's good.
Yeah.
Cool. I do like to keep people guessing, so you see the fear in their eyes. One of the other questions I wanted to ask you this service that I didn't ask you last service was,
that's a new question.
The stress.
Who would have guessed?
I wanted to ask you about, obviously we have a lot of great adults and young adults who volunteer on the youth team. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's meant for you? Is there a time where a conversation or a particular person from the youth team has sort of changed the trajectory of your faith? Can you tell us about what impact has being a part of youth and having those older people invest in you? What has that meant to you guys?
Okay, well, that's actually an easy question for me because I've had the privilege of having one leader be probably one of my majority of my mentors for my whole time at Gateway. And she was the one who's introduced me into CYC leading, which I think was a massive step in my faith journey and something that I'm so grateful that I did because I absolutely love it. I'm currently really predictable now that I'm going to be on every camp that I can get on. I was telling someone that I'm going to the CYC internship next year, and they were like, "Yeah, that tracks." And I was like, "Am I really that predictable?" So apparently I am. But that's something that's really helpful, and it's something that's really come through Becky, my youth leader.
Awesome, that's great. Thanks, Katie.
Yeah, well, Morgan was my youth leader. When you get into youth, the leaders get assigned a youth, sort of.
Pretty
So
much,
everyone's your leader,
Sort of.
but then you have your
half
leader that you can go to. And that leader for me was Morgan in my younger years. And yeah, he grew me and he challenged me to grow, and I'm so much better for it. So I'm thankful for him. But now in the senior years, I've got guys like Ben Wan and Noah Swenson who are constantly feeding into my faith and just growing me and challenging me. But it's so good to always know that you can come to youth and you'll have older people that you look up to just investing time and effort into you. Just it doesn't happen anywhere else.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, just people who want to be here on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing I asked you about last service was you guys have both been involved in serving, and obviously a lot of people around Gateway serve, but you guys both attend youth and help out in band. You also both volunteer in God's Own. So Why is that? Why is serving something that you do, and what do you get out of it?
Thanks for stopping me. I really like to showcase my gifts and like use them for good. So I like playing the saxophone, and it's one of my gifts, and so it's great playing it in worship to be able to like share that. I also absolutely love leading kids, and it's been such a pleasure to lead Switch, especially because that was where I like first met Gateway, was through Switch. So it's been really nice to be able to kind of full circle moment with that one.
Yeah, it's good. I serve because that's what you do. You can't run a church if there's no volunteers.
True.
It doesn't just happen. Lots of work gets put in. Lots of people have to put time out of their weeks and out of their Sundays to make stuff happen. So I just, churches, Gateway's my family, so I need to get involved and help out where I can. And for me, at the moment, that looks like God's Zone, and I'm on youth band as well. And then next year, hopefully, I'll youth lead, but we'll see.
Awesome. Good on ya. And the last question, which we've kind of covered, but also as a bit of a broader question is, what value do you see in being able to be a part of a place where you see a broad range of generations, right? Because you don't just see kids, you don't just see young adults. We also, for you guys, you get to see adults and some of our experienced adults around the place. So what does that mean to you to be in a place where you kind of get to see all these generations mixing together?
Well, coming from a church that ended up being very much more just the experienced adults, it was amazing to come here and just see such a diverse range, and it is still so amazing. This year I actually got to be a part of Deep Dive, which was really great because I got to kind of sit in on different people's conversations and be a part of the more experienced adults' conversations and really get their perspectives, which is really good.
That's going to stick the more experienced adults, I
More
think.
experienced. Yeah, you're welcome.
But you, Ethan?
Yeah, I think a church is so unique in that you have so many different age groups, all a part of one family, and you're all together, and you're all there for each other. So you can have people who do have more life experience. You can ask them for wisdom, for advice, and then you also have younger people who have different point of views. I know I learn lots from the God's Own kids when I'm leading them, and yeah. So I think it's so special to have, especially as a younger person, it's so special to be seen by the older people.
Yep.
And for them to, notice you and put time into you to, like they say, it takes a whole church to raise a child.
Yeah.
It really does. And the difference that people make in just all the children at Gateway is absolutely amazing.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You guys smashed it. Thank you. Our youth are very lucky to have this church, but I also think we're very lucky to have our youth and see how they grow and connect with Jesus and how it keeps us young. I actually did grow up in this church. I think that you often, one of the ways you can tell if someone has grown up in a place, especially sort of a smaller community kind of place, is when there was a rule made specifically for you. And I am one of the people who can say there was a rule made specifically for me, which was that when I was young, I really wanted to join the tech team. I was very young. I was in primary school and I wanted to join the tech team. And the rule that was made for me at Gateway, which still stands, is that you have to be in high school to be in the tech team. So I've been around here for a long time, not quite since nappies, but almost. And I've seen a lot of parts of Gateway. Gateway is the church that I grew up in. And I know for many of you, it's the church that you grew up in or are growing up in. And even if you're an adult, I know that I sometimes still am reminded that I am growing up in this church. And so we're going to hear an awesome performance song this morning on that very topic. So I hope you enjoy.
on a hill with a steeple still attached. When all those cars drive by, they don't know what they've just passed. There's no fancy signs, one service times, and the door's always unlocked. It's the first place that I saw the hand of God. And you couldn't tell me that there wasn't healing in those walls. You couldn't tell me that angels didn't walk those halls. On a Wednesday night, a Sunday morning, we didn't have much, but Jesus loved it. If you want to know why I am the way I am, it's the church I grew up in. There were tear stains in the carpet and communion in the back. And none of us were perfect, but we all tried our best. And the mother's prayer still in the air for the ones who've walked away. And the only thing that kept us was God's grace. And you couldn't tell me wasn't healing in those walls. You couldn't tell me that angels didn't walk those halls. On a Wednesday night, a Sunday morning, we didn't have much, but Jesus loved it. If you want to know why I am the way I am, it's the church I grew up in. From wedding vows to funerals, the church bells, they still ring. It's where I learned the gospel, and my mom taught me to sing. And you can try to tell me that the church isn't alive today, but I know that it is, so I'll tell my kids there is healing in those walls. There's angels dancing down those halls. If it's a Wednesday night or Sunday morning, we don't need much, 'cause Jesus loves it. If you want to know where my history began, if you want to know why I am the way I am, it's the church I grew up in.
This is the church that I grew up in. I don't think it should bear all the blame for who I am, but it is the church that I grew up in. Here's proof. That is me on the left in Godzone back in the day. I think possibly before it was called Godzone, maybe when it was called Kids Biz. So I really have grown up in this church. That's probably around, maybe I was a little bit younger when we started coming along, and you know, we were just a family that had immigrated from South Africa. You can tell because those pants were made by my mum to save money. And it shows. It was the 90s, but it still shows. So I grew up in this church. I've been coming here a long time. I actually learned my pre-pastoral profession here. As I said, I started out on the very first day of high school. As soon as I possibly could, I joined the tech team and went on to enjoy a career, and I've been lucky enough to be able to bring those skills back into the church in this kind of beautiful cycle. I have been lucky enough to be a part of investing in young people, obviously. Yes, that is young Singe. He has featured heavily already, but that's also young Jacob Massey Chase in the background out at Camp No Fear a long time ago. I've been lucky enough to see firsthand our impact in PNG, to go out there, meet the people, see our churches, see our school just outside the settlements, and to contribute just a tiny little bit to what's going on there. I have been lucky enough to serve for long enough to baptise young people who I met maybe just before they joined youth and travel with them through youth and get to be in the waters of baptism with them, which is really special. I got married in this church. Obviously, I love my family, but I love my church. And we didn't choose to get married in a nice white chapel or a garden. If you did, that's fine. But for us, we wanted to get married in this church, our church. And I get to see my kids now find joy in this church too. To find older people who care about them and who will take time to make them smile. This is the church that I grew up in. It's never been in a white chapel on a hill. It's never been in a building with the steeple still attached. It's been in a home and a scout hall. It's before my time. It's been in a local high school where I've helped roll out the carpet and set up chairs and bring tech equipment in from a trailer with flat tyres stashed out the back. It's been in a gym that was under construction to become a theatre where we never knew what we were going to turn up to from week to week. What was going to be there? We didn't know. It's been in an old cinema. It's been in an ex-nightclub in the centre of Frankston. It's also been spotted on a block of land in Baxter, a little cafe on Nepean Highway, in basketball stadiums, running up Oliver's Hill, serving breakfast at a local primary school, right outside a couple of settlements in Port Moresby, and up in the highlands of PNG, and so many more places. And from all the places we've been, all the places I've been at growing up in this church, from the beautifully renovated ones to the ones where we had to make do, you couldn't tell me that there wasn't healing in those walls. You couldn't tell me that angels didn't walk those halls. Whatever day it was, whether it was church or youth or a basketball game or a theatre production, right now when it's in a renovated factory in Seaford where we get to come in and the aircon works every week, if you want to know why I am the way I am, it's the church that I grew up in. It's the church that we're growing up in. It's the church that our youth and my kids are growing up in. And this church values young people. It always has. That's why there had to be a rule about when I could join the tech team. But also why a 12-year-old got to join the tech team at the start of year 7. This church gave me opportunities and responsibilities that I didn't deserve and hadn't earned. This church treated me like a part of the church when I was young, not just the future of the church. And I try to do the same. This church invests in young people. Through some of my larger mistakes and also some of the harder times in my life, this church and its people have been at my side, even when I was in the wrong. And I try to do the same. This church has older people who have cared and do care about me. From those a few years older than me to those who are very, very experienced. And I try to do the same. I was thinking about this message actually. This flashback from my childhood came back to me about this older gentleman. And I was saying in the first service, I don't even know his last name. All I can tell you is that in my house, all I knew him as around this church was Old Tom. I think there's probably some people here who remember Old Tom. I don't know his last name, can't help you. And I remember my mum used to host prayer meetings in the lounge room of my house when I was in primary school. And I remember floating around, and I was an only child, so I was a bit of a loser. And I would go and serve tea and coffee, like get tea and coffee orders and bring them out. That's what you do when you're an only child, apparently. I remember bringing a cup of tea to Old Tom, and him just taking a couple of minutes going, "Thanks for bringing me the cup of tea. I really appreciate that. What have you been doing at school this week?" I was a bit of a loser at school, so I told him all about maths. And then he said, "So tell me what you know about Jesus." And just took a couple of minutes to hear what I'd learned about Jesus and where he fitted into my life. And those are important memories. That's the value of an older person just taking a second to care about a young person. I haven't thought about it for years, but thinking back to that moment this week, I went, there's something special about that. This church supported my parents when I was a nightmare of a child. And it has already supported me when my toddler is a nightmare. So I try to do the same. Gateway, our young people need you. They need to hear from you and see the generations that went before them. They need your support. They need to hear about your experiences. They need your investment into their lives and into this place. With your time, with your skills, and yes, with your funds. They need to hear about what God has done in your life, where He's turned up when you didn't expect it. And they need to know that He's alive in your lives and in the life of this church today. It can be easy to see our youth as somebody else's problem. It's a department that's just over there. And that is certainly what I do when I think about the primary school kids going to God's Zone. I think, it's great that God's Zone exists. That can be their problem. It can be easy to see young people as somebody else's problem. But the truth is that our youth need all of us to show them what a healthy church community looks like. They need to see young people and experienced people. They need to see men and women. They need to see couples and single people. They need to see those with kids and those without. Taking ownership of this place, taking responsibility for this house. We can't delegate our responsibility for youth to the youth department. I'm doing my best out here, don't get me wrong, but I'm sorry, we can't delegate our responsibility for the youth. We have to step up to the plate. This will be the church that they grew up in. What will they carry forward? What will they have learned? What will they have seen that will carry them and this church forward? To those of you who love this church and love our young people, thank you for what you do for our youth. They need it, and it's seen, and it's appreciated, of course. And we all benefit from the generations that went before us. I know I can say that, but I think some of the more experienced people in this room would say that too. May the Lord continue to move us all to action. And if you're a youth, or maybe someone that's on the fringes of Gateway or new to this whole faith thing, can I tell you something? God's church is still alive today. there is still healing in these walls. There's angels dancing down these halls. Whether it's at youth or basketball or Broadway in a week or in PNG or in a cafe or in somebody's house, His power is still here. His power is still there. God, I just thank you that your church is still alive and well. Lord, I pray that you would stir us all into action. God, I pray that you would stir up our faith, that you would stir up the emotional side of faith and from hearing from the Holy Spirit. But God, I pray that you would also stir up a sense of responsibility for those who are growing up in this church. To take the place of the needs of this church, to switch on the brain part of faith, God, where we say, as Ethan said, I just do what I do for my family. I step in and do the chores. God, I just pray that you would stir up both parts of that in our lives, and that the youth of this church, the kids of this church, the toddlers of this church, that they would see both of those things in action. Faith and responsibility. Lord, move us to action. And God, because of you, because of what you're doing in our lives and in the life of this church, will you take us into the future where you want us to go. In your name, amen.
When I look back, I can see your hand all over my back. Even in the times I'd rather forget, I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. You never let go. Thought I was alone, now I know you were close. I can see it now, you're bringing me home. I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. Oh, every day gets better when I'm walking with you. Oh, you're my home forever, what a beautiful view. I will give you praise for the things you've done, and every single way that you've shown your love. God, you have only just begun, so come on, come on, there's so much better to come. So much better to come. So much better to come. When I look back, I can see your hand all over my past. Even in the times I'd rather forget, I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. You never let go. Thought I was alone, now I know you were close. I can see it now, you're bringing me home. I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that, yeah. Oh, every day gets better when I'm walking with you. Oh, you're my home forever, what a beautiful view. I will give you praise for the things you've done, and every single way that you've shown your love. God, you have only just begun, so come on, there's so much better to come. So much better to come. So much better to come. You never left me. You always helped me. Got through the fire. I find my strength when I'm walking beside you. You never left me. You always helped me. Got through the fire, through the fire, through the fire. I find my strength when I'm walking beside you. I will give you praise for the things you've done, in every single way that you show love. God, you have only just begun, so come on, there's so much better to come. So much better to come. So much better to come.
Let's go, Gateway.
forget. I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. You never let go. Thought I was alone, now I know you were close. I can see it now, you were bringing me home. I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. Oh, every day gets better when I'm walking with you. Oh, you're my hope forever, what a beautiful view. I will give you praise for the things you've done, and every single way that you've shown me love. God, you have only just begun, so come on, come on, there's so much better to come. So much better to come. So much better to come. When I look back, I can see your hand all over my past. Even in the times I'd rather forget. I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. You never let go. Thought I was alone, now I know you were close. I can see it now, you were bringing me home. I just can't believe you'd love me like that, love me like that. Oh, every day gets better when I'm walking with you. Oh, you're my hope forever, what a beautiful view. I will give you praise for the things you've done, and every single way that you've shown me love. God, you have only just begun, so come on, there's so much better to come. So much better to come. So much better to come. You never left me. You always helped me. Got through the fire. I find my strength when I'm walking beside you. You never left me. You always helped me.